Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another World of Warcraft video. As always, your host Papatello, bringing you any news and coverage and all that spelunky, all that stuff I normally do, alright? So much love to you. Hope everyone's having a good day. It's the 4th of July. Happy 4th. Hope everyone's locked in. I had a good day today with me and my mom. Got some tacos. We went to a nice birria taco place, you know, the birria tacos where you dip the taco in, and I had an al pastor taco. And, you know, I had a bunch of them with a little lime action. That was pretty banging. And then some chips with a little salsa and guac. Gotta love it. And a couple Modelo's. So, you know, a little chip and dip and sip action. Whatever the cool kids say nowadays. Editor, I want that better on the prompter next time, or you will get shot in Minecraft. Throw off there what I fed in Minecraft. YouTube family friendly. Don't piss me off, alright, chat? You will get knocked the fuck. You're lucky I took my pills. You're lucky I took my pills. Much love to you, though. Let's get into today's video, but before we continue, check out the link below. Your guide through all of Azeroth, Rested XP. Any assistance and quests you might need help with, this will get you there a tad bit quicker throughout Azeroth and your journey in general. Support the boy, support the channel, and if not, much love to you. Just like the video and subscribe to the channel. That's all I care about. Anyways, so let's get into the topic of discussion today. We got not many things to talk about, just a couple, like, you know, PTR changes, because we're in the last, you know, week of PTR changes, guys, so this is really about it. And then we're going to go over some, like, little tweaks that I saw with Paladins, and then also some, you know, Endgame Relics we'll go over just for Druids, Paladins, and I believe Shamans, and then pre-quest things that we'll talk about at the end. So, for Mages, it seems like Pyroblast has no mana cost if cast using Hot Streak proc. Brain Freeze now also makes Balefire Bolt instant and have no mana cost, and the base damage of Frostfire Bolt has been reduced by 16%, and I'm already stuttering, so you know this is a good video. So, from the notes, it seems like we see an extremely high performance from mages in the PTR, and while we are comfortable with making mages do lots of damage, we wanted to take down Firespire Bolt slightly while making Hot Streak procs even more satisfying, and also giving Balefire Bolt a better interaction with Brain Freeze. So basically trying to add a little bit more flexibility to class, because it seems like a lot for mages, it's just really just spamming Frostfire Bolt, and you're just doing a fuck ton of damage. Hey, with some people, they like that. More power to them. But overall, though, I still think mages are going to be a really good caster come next phase, even with the hits to basically Frostfire Bolt. Overall, though, I still believe that they will be in an okay spot. I do know mages want some other things addressed to them, but in general, we'll see what happens at the end, you know, with phase 4, when everyone gets their 6-piece sets and fully bissed out, and to see where mages are at the spots at the end game. I'm very curious about that at that point, and then we can have further discussions as well on how mages feel in general about their class, especially if they're still having any, like, severe mana issues going on, which I know that's been a big concern amongst casters. But overall, though, we'll continue. Paladins. Malleable Protection now grants 4 attack power per excess point of defense when Holy Shield is used instead of spell power. On the notes, many Paladins pointed out that we would like to see the additional benefit from defense when using Holy Shield to increase AP rather than SP. While we aren't going in that direction for now as a compromise, we're allowing Malleable Protection rune to essentially grant the same desired effects in addition to the baseline spell power benefit that Holy Shield grants from defense. So this should make the rune more attractive to tanking Paladins, who it's designed for, and still allow Paladins use Holy Shield to gain a chunk of spell power they would lose when not using Sheaf of Light. Okay, so I could dig this change, and I think actually a lot of Paladins, from what I've seen discussing this about, also like this change for deep prot help and deep prot assistance. This seems really deep prot viable, and I really like this. I don't think Blizzard should touch this at all. This is a good change. Leave it. Let it rock. Let the Paladins enjoy, you know, the comfortability of being a deep prot Paladin and being very effective, especially with this, how this is going to scale out overall, you know, with the AP versus SP balance. That's a lot of thing that a lot of Paladins are always worried about, whether, you know, we should lay towards more SP or lay towards more AP. Overall, though, in general, I think this is something that is going to be a good change for Paladins. Let it be there, let it stay, and then, you know, we'll just go from there. At this point, I think overall, in the grand scheme of things, I think most of the specs for Paladins at the moment, before we even get access to our 6-piece set, there are things that could be better overall, no matter what, for every single class. At the end of the day, everything could be subject to change and improve, right? But we'll just let it rock for now, see what happens once we get all our 6-piece sets, and then, you know, especially when we get full bist out and we come online, and then go from there and see how the, you know, the game plays out in the long run. But I'm looking forward to the future, you know. I'll just say that much. There's really nothing much to really talk about from there. In general, though, rogues, Mutilate damage reduced from 100% to 80% weapon damage, and its bonus damage decreased by 20%. And Envenom, base damage reduced by 20%, and AP contribution damage reduced by 20%. So from the notes, it's similar to mages. We're becoming concerned about the overall damage output of rogues in relation to other classes going in Phase 4. Mutilate has dominated the last few phases, which it has, and while it's still likely slightly edge out other choices such as Saber Slash, this should help tone rogues' output basically down slightly, while also helping bring Mutilate more in line with other rogue options available. I still think Mutilate's going to be one of the top things used, no matter what, for rogues. In general, though, I don't think this is a massive hit. In PvP, it could see maybe a bit of a difference, but overall, I still think rogues are going to be one of the top physical melee damaging classes in the game. So fear not, rogues. I think you guys will still be in a good position, even with these hits. But hey, if anything else to get addressed at the end of the day, and maybe if 20% is too much, maybe 15% or 10, we'll see what happens in the long run and see what happens in a couple weeks going into Phase 4. Shamans, Way of Earth now reduces the range of Lightning Bolt, Chain Lightning, Lava Burst, Healing Wave, and Chain Heal by 20 yards. So there's a big reduction to the range check here for abilities. So from the notes, Shaman has become quite impressive in PvP, and the usage of Way of Earth and Restoration and Elemental Shamans contributes heavy to this. This change should not lower the overall output potential of Shamans in PvP who are using this rune, but it should make applying that damage significantly less flexible and more dangerous to Shamans themselves. We will continue to monitor Shaman performance in PvP and make additional adjustments as needed. And Molten Blast now gains additional damage equal to 14.3% of fire spell power. Please note that this extra damage is not reflected in the tooltip at any time. So, for my Shamans, how do you guys feel about this? Now, I do know overall, a lot of the community for a long time now, there has always been that argument, and this is not to bring up any, drama or anything like that, but there's always been that argument whether our Shamans are just getting a lot of love, the hero treatment in Season of Discovery. I guess you can compare this to even when, Death Knights and Wrath. When Death Knights and Wrath came out, Death Knights were extremely an oppressive PvP class, very strong, beatable, but very strong class. The same thing happens with Shamans. I think, in a way, Shamans have been getting some really good love after Phase 2 especially. But overall, though, I do think it is still winnable to beat a Shaman. Is it hard? Yes. Is it a tough class to fight? Of course it is. But I do understand why the Blizzard developers are taking a look at these things. Maybe they've seen it finally on their end from the data they have collected over time, from the player base, from everything that's been going on, and maybe some own, research and dev testing themselves, that they've realized that this needs to be reduced a little bit in range for all these abilities by a certain amount of yards to maybe make this class a little less oppressive within the PvP battlefield as it already is. Because I remember early on, personally, in my beginning days of playing the earlier phases, Phase 1, Phase 2, going into, Warsong Gulch, and you go in there, and I bump into like 4 or 5 elemental shamans, and I'm just getting, sent to another planet, you know what I mean? I'm getting absolutely, nuked on. However, though, listen, at the end of the day, I still want love for the Shamans. I think Shaman is a fun-ass class. It looks really cool, and I think they offer a lot to the Horde end of things as well. I hope that, this is something that they don't butcher the class at the end of the day and still give love to, other portions of the class, maybe to tank Shamans. I know 2 hand-in-hands, get some more love to them over there. Overall, I'm hoping the best for them, and for the Shaman brothers, I'm hoping the best for you guys. Let me know your comments down below. So, for Warlocks, Shadow Flame has seen several adjustments. Shadow Flame is no longer mutually exclusive with Unstable Affliction. Shadow Flame now triggers improved Shadow Bolt, and Shadow Flame also increases the number of improved Shadow Bolt charges to 10. The Demonic Pact effect now applies to the raid group rather than just the party. The amount of bonus spell damage provided by Demonic Knowledge is down by 3% and was from 10%, so a 7% range, basically, of a nerf, so to say. Demonic Pact, though, affecting the raid is actually massive, and as a Warlock, this is fucking badass as well. Now that this is not just a party thing and it applies to everyone, that is really juicy stuff and increasing overall damage, right? So the damage and stamina of the Felguard now has been increased by 20%. That's a little nutty. I feel like the Felguard in PvP was really fucking nice, and you're telling me they're getting a 20% buff? I'll take it, I guess. Grimoire Synergy has been adjusted and now has a 10% chance to proc and grants 10% damage bonus. Okay. Alright, I'll take that. Grimoire Synergy is a really good PvE ability as well. Damage penalty of Shadow Bolt Valley has been reduced by 5%, previously 20%. And the new ability has been added to the game via spellbook. Grimoire of the Fel Armor surrounds the caster with Fel energy, increasing spell damage and healing by 60 plus additional spell damage. And healing equal to 50% of your spirit. In addition, you regain 2% of your maximum health every 5 5 seconds. Only one type of armor spell can be active on the Warlock at any time in the last 30 minutes. That's going to be fucking nuts in PvP in particular. The fact that you're increasing the healing output is a little scary because, dude, with Drain Life on a Soul Link lock, and there was, I think, one person I saw that, you know, he was saying that Metamorphosis and Soul Link doesn't correlate anymore. I know that. But just Soul Link in general, when I played Soul Link lock in PvP and Warsong or even in AB, they are fucking tough. You gotta focus the pet. If you don't focus the pet or try to kill them as fast as you can, it's gonna be a long fight for you, because the fact that they do so much damage and just gain health and they're so tanky, it's a hell of a fight against a Soul Link lock. And I've versed them as a Paladin myself. It's a good fight. Overall, though, you're giving them more healing and damage now. And on top of their Felguard also getting a buff as well in terms of overall damage, 20%. And the stamina increased, because, you know, stamina is a big play with Soul Link Warlocks and our pets. Fuck, man, that sounds juicy. I'm not gonna lie. We'll see how it goes, and when the, you know, the phase comes out and what people think about, you know, PvP in general, and, you know, when they're testing out certain classes, see what class is more impressive than not. I'm very curious if they're going to keep an eye on Warlocks in general. We'll see what happens. The Mark of the Chaos Rune has been moved to the feet slot and now activates when any curse except Curse of Elements and Curse of Shadow is used. Okay. Soul Siphon Rune has been moved to the back slot, and Immolation Aura has got a redesign. So Immolation Aura now triggers for being attacked rather than a periodic effect, but this cannot occur more than once per second, and it doesn't require the attack to hit you. What? So the Immolation Aura now also increases fire damage by 10% for the Destro locks. That's going to be nice, especially when you're doing instant spamming as well. So Insert Rune, though, hold on, has been moved to the wrist slot. And from the notes, it's basically, after the previous round of adjustments of Warlocks, many players correctly pointed out that Shadow Flame was still mutually exclusive with Disable Affliction, which is an unintended oversight. We fixed that and additionally added an interaction with Improved Shadow Bolt to allow Shadow Flame crits to also proc the increased damage effect. Improved Shadow Bolt wasn't utilized heavily prior to the change. The amount of free time for Shadow Bolt filler was relatively low. Lastly, the number of charges on Improved Shadow Bolt didn't make it very usable, so we're increasing the number of charges gained from 4 to 10. With Shadow Flame, which should increase the overall usefulness of the talent in the group settings. We also hope to see this create some synergy with Shadow Priest in particular that can benefit from basically from this as well. I think, honestly, I'm going to be very curious to see how shadow-based damage locks, well, mainly just Affliction in general too, but just shadow locks in general with Shadow Priests, how they benefit off of each other, how much more damage output potentially Affliction lock and PvE can do. That's one thing I'm very curious to see, because I really like Affliction lock. I go over this a lot of times whenever I even talk about locks in any of my videos. That's something I would love to see, you know, rise to the rankings and, you know, see much more, you know, effectiveness, I would say, in Classic overall, that it's probably never seen before, until, you know, later on Affliction starts to become better in TBC and RAF and so on, right? But overall, though, it'd be really cool to see, you know, Affliction on the meters in general. Warriors, for last but not least, Thunderclap now gains an additional damage equal to 5% of AP. Please note that this extra damage is not reflected in the tooltip at this time. Alright, guys, well, that is about it for all the changes in the PTR. Basically, potentially the last amount of changes we might see before the official, you know, launch comes out in 7 days, guys. So, we'll see what happens. Maybe they make some last-minute, you know, adjustments, but, you know, if they do, I'll let you know for sure in the video. Also, for a small thing that I want to go over, nothing too crazy, but it seems like for Illumination, they changed the delay of how fast the mana, when you get the proc of basically the Flash of Light, Holy Light, or Holy Shocks heal spell, getting you that 20% chance to get that mana basically back from the base cost of the spell. I guess they changed the delay from basically -1 millisecond to 0 milliseconds, so I'm assuming it is faster now to get that basically 20% chance to gain the mana back to us. So it's just a time adjustment. That's all they're doing with Illumination. Nothing too crazy over there, but just wanted to highlight there for any, you know, the Holy Paladins interested in that. Now finally, the endgame, you know, relics that are coming, right, overall. For Druids, we have Idol of the Grove. Your regrowth spell energizes you for 50 mana when it heals a target. Idol of Exsanguation, if I said that correct, on the bear. For lacerate ticks, energize you for 3 rage, and for the cat form, the same idol. Basically, it would the energy of your rake and rip spells is reduced by 5, and then finally an idol, the swarm. For paladins, Libram of the Consecrated. Your Crusader Strike spell reduces the cost of your next Consecration spell by 70%, so that seems pretty juicy in PvE. And hell, even in PvP in general, when you're trying to spam a stealthy out of there, you know, on a flag or something. Libram of the Devoted. Your Shield of Righteousness spell causes you to gain 35 block value for 10 seconds. And then Libram of the Holy Alcrity, I believe. Your Holy Shock spell reduces the cast time of your next 2 Holy Lights by 0.2 seconds. That sounds really nice in PvP and PvE in general. Libram of Truth, and finally for the the Paladins. And then finally, Shaman of Totems. Totems are totems. How can I even? Am I stuttering right now? Somebody, get the Nerf gun. Get the Nerf gun. However, Totem of the Plains. The cast time of your healing rain spell is reduced by 100%. Ooh, that seems pretty good. Totem of Raging Fire. Your Storm Strike spell causes you to gain, it says 0 AP, but I think it's 50. 50 attack power for 12 seconds. Most effective with a two-hand weapon. So it seems like you may be benefiting more of the two-handed hands, possibly. Totem of Thunder. The cast time of your lightning bolt spell is reduced by 0.1 second. And then Totem of Earthen Vitality. Your melee attacks with Rockfire weapon restores 2% of your total mana. So for my Shaman players down there, what do you guys think about this down below? And that's basically about it for everything that we discussed in terms of everything going on in this week news of basically World of Warcraft for SOD. Finally, guys, basically Wowhead has put up a nice, really good list of pre-quest routes and preparation that you guys can do for SOD Phase 4. You guys can go into this. I'll leave this link down below. They have everything for Alliance preparation, for Horde preparation. They even have the turn-in routes that you can do, and the Horde routes that you could do as well for both Alliance and Horde. And also showing you basically utility runes, basically that the rings that, that we're getting overall. If you guys are not aware or haven't played the PTR, they also have this link down below. This is basically all the stuff that we're getting in the PTR in general. You guys are probably already aware of this. Is old information, but I'm just giving you it now so you guys have a general, basically, understanding of this. So I'll leave this link here for you guys all to check out. It's really good information. I'll probably be using some of this stuff myself, but that's really about it. Now, on to the outro of the video. That was a lot of stuff to talk about, but still, good information nonetheless. However, I will say this, editor, get it into the full cam. Much love to you. I still got the birthday balloon there. I don't know what I got to do. I got to throw it away. Unbelievable. But I'm looking forward to Phase 4. Now, I will say, at the end of the day, if SOD has been perfect or not, I think we can all agree that SOD has been, going through some shambles, right? And especially with Phase 3, right? It's taken a hit, for sure. And I think, we've had a lot of good times with SOD, and we've had a lot of, bad times with Season Discovery. Some players love the game, some players are unsubbing from the game, and it's totally fine. But at the end of the day, as a player that is always going to be, covering SOD content, because I just love, classic WoW. I love SOD. In general, I think SOD's been awesome, and, even for, my channel, this is what I've been covering, right? I just like to give this information out for you guys and, get your thoughts about it, and we have awesome, cool, awesome discussions in the comments below about it. So, overall, though, I'm really excited to go back there and with my guild, and we're gonna fucking discuss some shit. I'm gonna talk to my GM and get our guild up and running and get everybody blasting through Molten Core, exploring the new areas, getting looted up, maybe leveling alts. We'll see what happens. But I'm hoping this knocks it out the park, man. I really do hope that this phase is a phenomenal phase, because this is a big opportunity for them, and I hope they really hit a a grand slam here with this one, because they can't miss on this one. This is a phase that you can't miss on, in my opinion. You really need to fucking really show your fan base and the players that have been really enjoying your game that you've put passion and love and creativity within this version of World of Warcraft, especially this phase. Because there's a big thing happening right now with player retention for a lot of games, and players either drop off really fast if a game's not good, or they'll drop off or they'll come back really fast. They'll drop off really fast as they come back really fast. But in general, though, you want to make sure you knock it out the park with this, because at the end of the day, next month, in with a couple weeks and change, they have the War Within coming out. I know a lot of people are going to be playing that, even myself. I'll be giving it a shot, see how much I like it or not, and I'll let you know, in a video whether I like, War Within, classic Andy, or SOD Andy playing War Within style of videos. But that's really about it, that's all I got to cover for you for today. But I hope everybody, enjoyed the video, and I'm really hoping for the best for Season Discovery overall, and that's all I gotta leave it on that. But much love to you, amigos. I'll catch you on the next one. Keep on keeping on, shine on, and as always, we stream on the Twitch TV, Hello JTello, Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. We've been streaming Kingdom Come Deliverance. That's been really fun, so check it out over there. Shout out to McConnell, by the way. He's the one who hooked it up with the game. Much love to you, amigo. And it's been a badass game, honestly. I've been having such a blast with that game. Honestly, I think that game is really, really beautiful, and I've just been enjoying it overall. It's just a very slow style paced game in a medieval time, and it's a lot of badass things that are going on. And Henry's kind of the boy. He's kind of Himothy, low key. He goes through a lot of shit. But besides that, that's all we got to say for today. You know, I bought a PS5 and I barely fucking played a thing. I bought the God of War edition. I never even played Ragnarok. I got the controller, and I never even played the fucking game. When's the PS6 coming out so I can waste another $600 bajillion?